Hey everyone, Plot SM, welcome to part 3 of our Monogram 124th 1970 Plymouth GTX build. This is my entry to the Unified Scale Automotive Content Creators Group build, USACC build hosted by Lucas C. and Mark Batson. This car was picked with the Revel Roadrunner and I chose this one to do. Very kindly sent to me by Sean White. Thank you, Sean, you're an absolute legend, mate. We're going to get this finished today. Very soon after release on part 2, I know. There's not a lot left to do to the kit at all, and it is a very, very simple, easy kit to build. And surprisingly good fun. For a near 40-year-old kit, I've enjoyed building this, and the end result looks alright as well, I think. It really does. Missing a few key moments today. I don't get me painting or installing the lights. I don't get me putting the chassis interior in the body and the body on the chassis, because I'm a moron, and I didn't click record. But we did cover that in part 2. I think I test fitted all that on camera. The body shell and the chassis literally slots in the back and clicks in place. Dead easy. And all I did was add a bit of CA glue on the front engine mount to clamp it together because it was lifted up a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit twisted, I don't know. Just put a bit of CA glue on there and it's sat perfect. Really, really easy kit to build. 36 years old, the kit. Goes together no problem at all. Nice simple kit. And a big thank you to Sean White for sending me the kit out. Thank you, buddy. Much appreciated, really is. And in the meantime, I picked up the Roadrunner as well. So I've got that in the stash. And I believe it's been re-released by Revel as well, the Roadrunner. I believe it has. Anyway, let's jump straight into the build following this message. Hey everyone, please subscribe to the channel. Click the bell notifications, get notified of our latest videos. Give the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And leave a comment. I do read and appreciate every comment you guys and girls leave behind. I may not reply to them all, but they are all appreciated. And there's a link in the description of the video that takes you to a big long list of all handy videos and a lot of the products I use in my videos. You now have the chance to support the video content creation by using Patreon or the PayPal me link in the description down below. All the videos always remain free to watch. This is just your chance to help support the videos. Right then, so we're back with the final part of the Plymouth GTX. Now, we've got some chrome parts to deal with. As we know from previous trial, bleach doesn't touch these. So, we're going to cheat and we're going to cut them off, clean them up, get rid of any seams, any flash, any connection points to the sprue gate. We're going to prime this in GX2, Mr. Hobby Gloss Black. Let that dry overnight and then hit it with a super metallic paint of our choice. So it's going to go around with a 240 UMP sponge sander, clean up any rough edges, any flash, any connection points that need cleaning up, and just give it a light go over with the sander. Mount it, as you can see, on a tongue depressor on some sticky pads. And we've got some wing mirrors. Now, I've gone with some aftermarket wing mirrors because I didn't particularly like the kit ones. These are from Scale Production. They're just a generic stem wing mirror, basically. So we're going to go with those. So we've got my UMP Apex 0.2mm. Got some GX2 Mr. Hobby that's been thinned about 60% with Mr. Hobby Level and Thinner. We're going to put down a light coat to begin with to get a bit of bite onto the chrome. Now, this isn't a primer, but I always get a better finish using it without primer. And over these previously chromed parts, which I've also wiped over and cleaned up, we should get a nice smooth gloss black. And the smoother the finish, the better the metallic finish we'll get on the part itself. Now, I did originally plan to use chrome, which if you remember on the AMT Super we did, that's what we used on that, and that looked great, especially over the 2K, because 2K is nice and smooth. It looked good around the windows. While I was painting this, I glanced over and saw a different bottle of paint. I saw the Silver Plate Next from Mr. Hobby, which is quite a difficult paint to get a hold of. I'll show it in a little bit when we go to spray it, and it's more of it's a darker chrome, shiny metal colour. And I thought, you know what, that might look different, so maybe we'll give that a go. So for now, we're going to get 2 or 3 light coats of this down, and then start at the end to put heavier coats on to get wetter coats, and that way it self-levels and this will dry super glossy. It's beautiful paint. You can't hose it on straight away to begin with, but build it up nice and slow and you're good to go. So before we do any windows, surrounds and what have you, we need to polish the body up. So we've got my UMP polish system we've got a 6000 grit 3M Trizec pad. Now, I've had these before, used them on and off, always on the fence about using them. After using today on this, I kind of fell in love with them again, and I think we're going to invest in a few more of these. Now, these things are not cheap. I spent a lot of money buying these, and to cut them up, I think I bought about 4 pads. It cost me like £20. They were very expensive, but they are very high quality, and I believe you can sand in any direction, even circular, and it doesn't leave any scratch marks in the paint. So I did have 3000 and 6000. I'm not sure where the 3000's gone. I think I've used it all, but I've still got plenty of the 6000. I thought, you know what, let's try it. We've got nothing to lose. Let's give it a go. So going in crisscross patterns, straight edges, side to side, up and down. We're going to lightly go round. Now, this is much more efficient than normal sandpaper, so don't apply a lot of pressure and don't go mad. Once you've flatted it back, you will see it proper dulls the 2K. So it's very easy to burn through if you're not careful. We then got my Tamiya 3000 grit sponge here as well to go over it. And then we'll finally hit it up with our 12,000 grit micro mesh. And that way, try and get rid of the flaws as much as we can. We're not going to go mad. And if we have a few spots in the paint, so be it. As I always say, I'd rather a few blemishes in the paint than ruin the 2K. It's as simple as that. We then got our UMP compound on a nice clean cotton cloth. This is one of the ones we sell at UMP. It's been cut into usable sizes by my wonderful girlfriend Hannah, and we're going to polish it up. So the compound's a more aggressive polish, so this will get rid of some of the heavy scratches and any marks that are on there. And again, be careful of edges, any corners, don't go mad. It's so easy to burn through the paint. I cannot stress how easy it is to burn through, so steer clear of edges and just really take your time here and concentrate. Also be careful of applying pressure to the body, that you don't break things or snap things. But as long as you take your time, work it up, and you'll be good to go. No bother at all. But just keep applying, adding a little bit more here and there until you're happy, and then clean it up with a clean bit of cloth as well, and then we can come in and apply the polish. Now, as I say, just take your time, especially on the sides, over those door handles, those vents, any protruding part, because you will burn through the paint in a heartbeat. Trust me, I've done it before like an idiot. It's easily done, so just please take your time going around with any polish or abrasive. It's so easily done. But for those that always say, and I see it quite often, using 2K, or you don't really need to sand it and polish it, do it. Trust me, it will look infinitely better sanded and polished. You will lose some of the thickness of the 2K that people always complain about. It makes it look toy-like, and you will get a better finish. Trust me, done properly, it's well worth doing. Now, I've sped this footage up a little bit just so we get through, but this is now the polish. This is UMP polish. Same principle, we're going around and just polishing up, and because this is less abrasive, we'll lose some of the finer marks left behind by the compound now, and hopefully get a nice shiny finish. And if when you're done, you can still see flaws you want to get rid of, rinse and repeat. Go at it with the sandpaper, the pads, the compound, or the polish as you see fit. So this is on you how far you push this, because it's a fine line between getting a nice polished body and burning through the edge of a paint and ruining your hard work. And sometimes for me, I'm happy to accept the odd flaw. This is the last little bit of polish now I'm putting on the roof. There are some very slight dust spots in the roof. I will accept that. I could go at it again with the pads, but sometimes there's got to come a point where you just think, do you know what, that'll do. And yeah, I end up with a nice glossy clear coat. It's a bit thinner than it was when it first went down, but there are a few flaws in there, and I can accept that. I'm not making show winning cars here. I'm doing this for my own enjoyment and to make content for you guys out there, so it's not the end of the world. But trust me, flat and polish the body, it's well worth doing. It makes a huge difference in the finish of the 2K. You end up with a much shinier, more realistic clear coat, because I get a lot of people saying, oh, 2K is no good, and it is. Painted properly, flattened and polished, you'll get a really good finish. With that done now, we've got the silver plate next. So this paint is SM8 in the super metallic range. It's quite difficult to get a hold of. It really is. And this single bottle of paint, between myself, Si and Alan, we got a bottle each. They're worth out about £18 each. They're not cheap at all for an 18ml bottle. So it's £1 a milliliter, so don't spill it. We're going to thin it with the rapid thinner. I've just done it by eye, as I always do. Give it a good mix up with the pipette. And this is a beautiful metallic colour. We've got the 0.2mm apex. We're about 12 psi. I've really lowered the pressure here. This is the next day. We've let that GX2 dry. I'm just going to put some light coats down, not going mad, and just build it up with that beautiful gloss black. And trust me, you'll spray it, it'll self-level before your eyes, and you're left with a really nice dark chrome effect. It's beautiful paint. Very expensive. I use this paint on the 16 scale MPC Cobra I did a while back, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful colour. I thought, you know what? Let's do the bumper and the window trim in this for a little bit of a different look. Rather than go with standard chrome, let's go with this lighter chrome. And you can see there, I'm just misting it over. We're not going mad, getting all those angles and everywhere. And what a beautiful colour that is. It's completely different to normal chrome. But it gets a great effect over that GX2. It's really nice. It's like just a real nice dark chrome with a very nice sheen to it. So, yeah, happy with that one. Now, this was a mammoth task, this. I've got to mask up all the windows, all the wheel arches, the door handles, the marker lights, and the bonnet. And this, no word of a lie, if you look at my watch there, it's 10:05. This took me about 2.5 hours to do, just to mask this up. So I'm using a mixture of Tamiya 1, 2 and 3mm tape, and then infilling with the 6, 10 and 18 as required. But 2.5 hours of masking. It was a very long, drawn-out task, but well worth doing at the end because it looked great. So I'm just going around and following all the edges I need to mask up, making sure they're all burnished down properly, they're in the correct place. And this is where the Tamiya thin tapes really come into their own right as useful masking tapes. They're very, very good. Like I say, 2.5 hours doing this. Oh my god, it was such a long slog to do. But I did it while I was live one morning, chatting to you guys out there. So that whiles away the time a little bit. I'm not laughing a joke with the guys in the hangout. But it certainly is very boring. As you can see, I'm using the 1mm to get right up to the edges and go around the corners, and then infilling with the 3mm. And then I'll come in with the other Tamiya tapes later on. Now, sadly, because of the shape of this car and all the areas that need masking, I can't use any cling film, so we have to use pure masking tape on this. So quite a lot of, I wouldn't call it wastage, usage is probably the right word on this, but it is what it is. That's what the masking tape is for. Like I say, we've got all the windows to do, door handles, the marker lights on the front and rear, the rear boot lid needs doing, we've got the wheel arches to do. It did call to do it on the front bonnet and around the front grille, but when I looked at the real car, I wasn't keen on that look. So again, it's my model, my choice. I opted not to put it around the front grille. We've already got the chrome grille, but on the real car, the outer edge of that grille is chrome as well. But no, didn't fancy that, so I left that off. But a lot of masking, a lot of awkward areas to do, but the masking tape from Tamiya makes this job quite easy, to be honest. And like I say, just be careful. Make sure you detack every piece of tape so you don't run the risk of pulling any paint off. And just some careful application, get it all masked, and you can come in and infill it with the other tapes, like so. Now the bonnet, we need some help from Chucky. This is from an eBay seller that I think I bought a die-cast car from. To 10% off eBay voucher if you want to use it. I can't remember the site. Mini Models or something it was called. As you can see, we've got a picture of Chucky there. And he's become a mask for our bonnet. A bonnet mask. So if you see the engine bay, I didn't quite paint it body colour when we did the car because I thought it was black. As I've been informed by a lot of the guys, the Mopars tended to have body coloured engine bays. That's the word I'm looking for. So once I've painted it in the body colour, I'm going to use that to mask it so I can spray the chrome. So there you go, a little temporary mask, and as you can see, all fully masked up now. I'm just going around making sure all that tape's burnished fully down, there's no gaps, no tapes lifted anywhere, and we've got all around that bonnet as well, so we can make sure we can spray it properly. Every single piece of tape's been detacked, so I know when I pull it off it's not going to pull any paint up. We've got the F8 dark green and the, which brush is this? That is my Watt HBC Plus. We're just going to put a couple of coats down and get the engine bay up to proper colour. So not going mad, just building it up slowly. working our way around. And there we go. Then we've now got our proper engine bay colour. Now, it's a hell of a battery now. If you look at the top, it's about 3 foot long. Due to the moulding. Bit of a shame, really. But with some clever masking, which I don't really show, unfortunately, because I'll lose a bit of footage on this video. I do paint it up in the engine bay later on. So the engine bay done. The airbrush clean. We're going to put our Chucky mask in place. Like so. There we go. That's in. So I'll keep that all nice and clean for us now. We can spray our paint. So the same paint as before. Silver plate from Mr. Hobby, SM08. In fact, it was left over from the night before. And kept in the medicine cup with the lid. And again, 0.2mm apex, about 12 psi. We're just going to give everything a few coats of this. Now, a word of warning, this is a very delicate paint once it's even dry, and it will rub off. So that is the only downside to using it. It does rub off. Now, what I will try next time is I'm going to put it under the 2K, I think, and we'll see what it does. I might experiment on a spoon. I'll spray a spoon and we'll clear coat it and see what it does. Under a clear coat, if it's anything like bare metal foil, and bare metal foil doesn't dull, that'd be really helpful, but I've got a feeling it will, because a lot of metallics tend to dull under clear coats. But we'll certainly give it a whirl, because I had a bit of a nightmare rubbing bits off here and there. But go around the model, just make sure you get all the areas that need to be chromed, give them a couple of light coats, and then leave it as long as you possibly can to fully dry before you start handling, because trust me, it will rub off quite easily. And then what took us 2.5 hours to mask, paint in about 2 minutes, and is unmasked in about 2 minutes as well. But just be nice and careful, especially with those tweezers. As you can see, a lot of masking tape used on this one. Really was a huge amount. But that chrome looks really good. That's going to look very nice with all the bumper inserts in as well. Speaking of which, the front chrome. Now, I made a mistake on this. I actually meant to mask the inner part of that front grille and leave it black, but I completely forgot in the excitement of painting it. So I thought we'll do the same trick we've done on a few of the other American cars, and we'll just use some black panel line wash to paint, and I said on the loosest sense of the word, the bonnet chrome trim. So it's going to go through, load up the brush, let it all flow into all those recesses, and maybe not quite as dark as it should be, but it certainly takes the chrome look off and adds a darker shadow to it. And I like the look of this. I think it looks really good. What we'll do once it's dry, we'll get a pointed cotton bud and we'll clean up that GTX logo, so the GTX logo is chrome in the middle. So yeah, Tammy's enamel wash. You have to squint to see this because it's not getting in focus. But once it's dry, we add a bit more in those patchy areas, it'll look good. So we need to paint the interior as well. I'm going to do all the roof and A and C pillar in Vallejo model colour black. It's been thinned with a drop of water, and we've got a nice Tamiya flat HF brush. I'm just going to carefully add a couple of coats to the interior, just so it's not looking vulgar and nasty. If anyone looks into the interior, it all looks black, like the rest of the car interior does. And then with that done, we'll do our front wheel arches as well, because I noticed in some of the test pictures I'd taken with the wheels on, the chassis on, that you could see the paint on the wheel arch, and it looked a bit odd. So I thought while we're here, chuck a bit of paint in. The model colour paints are fantastic, they cover really well, and it look really good. Molitor chrome pen now to do the headlight inserts. Although they are a nice shiny metal, I thought chrome would look better, so the Molitor pen's in. And then we've got the glasswork. So the headlights and that are all there. Now I do lose a bit of footage on this, unfortunately. I missed me putting the headlights in, I missed me putting the interior in the car, and I missed me putting the chassis and interior and body shell together. But we did show that in all the other videos, so you have seen it go on before. So a bit of a nightmare. So we're just going to go from, oh, there's the glass going into, oh, there's the whole car assembled. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So all the kit, the glass was marked quite badly in a few places. So I've hit it with some 12,000 micro mesh, and I've got some of the Novus polish now. Now the Novus polish is absolutely fantastic. There's a deep and a fine scratch remover, and these things I believe were originally made for cleaning aircraft canopies. So it's perfect for this job, and oh my, does it do a good job of polishing plastic. This is the deep scratch remover, and even that alone made a huge difference to the quite heavily marked plastic. It looked really good. So that's the front one done, same onto the back one. Just very light sanding with the 12,000 grit micromesh. You can go harsher grits if you want, but this was about right for the marks we had, and we got rid of a lot of it with the micromesh. But then we need to get rid of the micro abrasive scratches with the polish, and this is where the Novus comes into its own. So well worth having in your armory of modelling tools, because trust me, it works very, very well on clear parts. So apply it, polish it in like you do with a normal polish, then get a nice clean cloth like I'm doing here, and buff it up until you get a nice high shine finish. If you need to repeat it as before. All I will say is be very careful with these glass parts. This one was quite flexible, and I'm going to guess quite brittle. I didn't push it to find out. But you don't want to break your windscreens, because it's a bad thing. But what a difference, what a transformation. You can see it in a minute after we get the fine on. So that was the deep scratch remover. This is now the fine, so it's a different colour one. I'm just going to add it to both on the inside and the out. And then we'll give it a good buff up, and you'll see what it's like at the end. Good stuff. It's not the cheapest. I think it works out about £15 to £20 on Amazon. We used to sell it at UMP, but we haven't for a while now. But it's definitely something worth having. Great for cleaning up plastics, glasses, anything like that at all. It's very, very high quality. And like I say, it's a 3-pack normally. You get a 1, 2 and a 3. The 3 is like a protective gloss kind of finish, which I never used, to be honest. But the fine and the heavy scratch remover, well, they work really well. Certainly made a difference on this glass. Turned it from almost unusable into pretty much as new. Looked really, really good. But like I say, make sure you're using clean cloths, and just be very careful handling the glass that you don't break the parts. And there you go. Just 10 minutes work, and we've got absolutely fantastic looking glass. So all the lights are fitted in the middle, so we'll take those out, pop them to one side. As you can see, beautiful clear glass, absolutely lovely. 3 locating points on the roof of the car, 2 at the back, 1 at the front. So we're just going to line that up eventually. And then pop them in place, squeeze them in. They kind of do hold themselves in, to be fair. Whether I trusted to do the job long term, I don't think I would. So I'm going to grab my UV pen. I'm just going to have a dab of UV glue. Teach one of those locating points. Hit it with the UV light to get it to set. And then we know it's not going to fall out as we get all the body together, like so. Like I say, I do lose a bit of footage here. I'm not sure if I've actually lost it, or if I'm honest, I probably forgot to click record. The camera goes off all by itself and doesn't tell me. But basically, we just slotted the body over the chassis. I did it in part 2, I think I did, to test it. And all I need to do was glue the front of the chassis to the bottom of the car, because it was a little bit riding a bit high. It was like lifting itself up. So a little bit of CA glue, pushed it in place, hit it with kicker, and it held it in place perfectly. And to attach our wing mirrors, we put a hole in the side, and then a little dab of glue on the wing mirrors, and then they go. And then the side markers, red on the back, yet orange on the front. We're going to paint on with a very fine, I think it's like a 000 Winsor & Newton Series 7 brush. We're going to paint those in by hand, nice and carefully. It's looking good. The stance is good. I've already seen this before. I think I had a picture in the last video. It's looking really good. The engine bay, yeah, it's nothing to write home about. The interior, the same. It is a very basic kit. I mean, it's like 6 parts to the interior, so it's not the nicest, most interesting model to actually build, but it's gone together really well. I'm quite surprised. At nearly 40 years old, an old Monogram kit, it has gone together really well. So the red done on the back, we get the orange on the front. Nice steady hand here. We're using the X range of paints from Tamiya. I think it's X27 and 26, I think it is. Just some careful painting will get those in. I like to load the brush up and let the capillary reaction carry it around the part. And then final touch is some old number plates off the decal sheet. So We're going for, I think they were Illinois GTX decals. So get them in place, get them lined up, get all the moisture out from behind. I didn't use any setting solution on them. They didn't need it at all. But loving that chrome. That dark chrome looks absolutely fantastic. Very happy with that. But like I say, it is delicate around the windows and what have you, so just take your time, be careful handling things. Chuck it on the back as well. Now, we scratch built those exhausts in part 2. And when I finished, I wasn't happy with them. So I cut them off. I had some aluminium tubing. We used it on the Ferrari 288 GTO build, if you remember, for the exhausts on that. And I cut them to length and added them exactly the same way. Polished them up with some metal polish, cut them to length, super glued them in place, and job done. So you'll see it in the final pictures where I changed the exhaust. Just wasn't happy with them. They looked a bit odd. And there we go. Just a final wipe over of a nice clean cloth. Being careful of all the chrome pieces. And it's looking good. It's not been a bad kit. It's a simple one. Paintwork's not perfect, as you can see. I have no reservations in telling people that sometimes I'll accept flaws. Some paint jobs you get nothing in. Others like this, you get a ton of dust. And it can be a losing battle to try and remove it. It's a fine line between get rid of the dust spot and absolutely ruining your clear coat. And just sometimes I'm not prepared to go that far. And that's my own choice. If you guys want to do it, feel free. I could have carried on polishing, but I don't want to risk it. There you go. Happy with that. It's turned out quite well. Not bad at all. Needs a few touch-ups here and there before we take some pictures. The side markers need a little bit more paint on them. We can fix those. But overall, it looks good. I actually enjoyed this build. It was a nice quick build. It went together really well. And I'm happy with it. And there we go, into the photo booth, some pictures, and I'm happy with this. It turned out well. For an old kit, very simple kit, really simple kit. I think it's come out alright, not too bad at all. I'm liking the wing mirrors added. I think they've added a nice little touch to it, quite apt for this car. The exhausts, they're probably a little bit too big. I don't know, let me know your thoughts on that. It was literally the only aluminium tube I had, so I just cut it up and polished it up and stuck them in place. But overall, it's not too bad at all. So this was primed in Tamiya Grey Primer. This is Scale Finishes, F8 Dark Green. Wasn't a big fan of the paint, applying it. It wasn't the nicest paint to spray, but it looks great now. Looks really nice. Proper good colour for this car as well. We hand masked and painted the stripes on the bonnet. Kit decals on the side. We used a silver marker pen to do the GTX logos on the side and the back. Gravity 2K clear. Flatten and polish of UMP polish system, micro mesh and some 3M pads and Tamiya pads. The chrome, we've done Mr. Hobby Super Metallic silver plate next. Kit wheels went on, we used a white pen, paint pen to do the writing on the wheels. An interior black on black, just standard black on black with some black flocking and some simple detailing to the engine. Like I say, simple kit, but I think it came out really well and I love this colour and it was a fun build to do, it really was. So there we go, another one off the bench and in the display case, and I'm happy with that. It's turned out well. It's not perfect by any means. It's a very, very simple kit. Could have added more detail, probably. I probably could have gone to town on the interior a little bit more, but I enjoyed the build and I just went with the flow and built it. Don't know how long it took me to build. I think I clear coated left for a couple of weeks and then came back and it probably took me 3 days to finish off. So not a difficult build at all. And a surprisingly good kit to build for the age of it. I actually really enjoyed that. And that colour is great. That F8 dark green. Joe Yellow Cake sent me that paint colour a couple of years back. Just randomly sent me the colour with another kit he sent me. And it's been sat on the shelf waiting for a kit to use. And when this build came up, I was like, that's a perfect colour for this car. And we used it. Not a big fan of the Scale Finishes paint. Don't like the way they go down. But I can't argue the results. The colour looks fantastic. So thank you, Joe, as well, for sending me the paint, mate. Really appreciative. So big thanks for Lucas C. and Mark Batson for organising this. I've not seen the other completed ones yet. And there's somebody who was mentioning maybe I've released my completed build too early. I don't know, but I'm not going to wait till January. I couldn't. I've got too much to do. So if I've broken any rules, I apologise, but I don't mean to. I'm just sharing my build around, and I look forward to seeing what everybody else does with theirs. I watched a few videos on plans people have got with them. It looks like there's going to be some really interesting ones. I went boring. I did it out the box with a bit of wiring for the engine, bit of flocking, and kind of mixed and matched the, what was it, the stock and street wheels, and I have just changed a few things around for my own means. But I'm happy with it. Looks good in the display case. Beautiful colour, and a good looking car as well. Really is. So happy to get that one off the bench, and now I can move on to the next project. So I've got a bench update in a couple of days, so I'm going to announce the next project in that. As a little hint, it is a Porsche with some nice extras I've had printed, 3D printed. So that's going to be done. And funny enough, on the bench is the colour I'm going to use as well. Guards red. So yes, pay attention for that one. And this will be my entry into my Build What You See group build on Styring and Machine. If you're not a member of my group, Styring and Machine, it's a Facebook group devoted to anything automotive, car, bike, truck, both in scale model or real life. It combines them both, so you can share real cars, scale models, works in progress, whatever you want to do, car restorations, car videos. Go on over there, my group build's hosted on there. It started about a month ago and it runs indefinitely. Doesn't really have an end date, just as and when we finish. And there we are. So nice getting the build off the bench. Not sure what build number this is. Must be like 13, is it now? The year 14? I'm not sure, but still got plenty on the go. Got the Aston Martin DB11 on the go, which is all 2K. We've got the interior to do on that next. And we've got all the door windows and doors to put on them, all the Fatty Hero Lancia next. And like I say, I'm probably going to start this Porsche next and get the ball rolling on that one. But there we are. Thanks for watching. As always, you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon me link down below. Become a patron, keep these videos going. You get 2-week early access if you go tier 2 or higher, as well as a monthly live stream. Like I say, without that support, I couldn't keep doing these videos or the daily live streams I do every single day over my other Facebook page, YouTube channel, which is linked down below. And down below is everything else related to me. There's ISM Forum, Facebook, UMP, the Off Air Hangout group. I'll have the bench page. There's an email address to message me should you want to message me. My Stalemate Scash is, oh God, Stalemate Gash, oh my life. My Stalemate Stash is down there. Oops, I'll leave that in. So you can go look at all my modelling projects, and there's modelling scale models over there. It's not a different kind. That's in the description down below as well. And please make sure you sub to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, click the bell notifications to get notified of the latest videos, and leave a comment, especially if you're new to the channel. I'm hoping a few more guys from the American side of the build to come on over, because I've tried watching you guys as well a bit more. I did take part in this build hoping to kind of bridge that gap a little bit and go look at other builds and bring other people to me. Whether that works or not, I don't know, we'll see. But either way, I've really enjoyed this build and enjoyed taking part in the group build, so thank you very much. There we go. Question for today. Would you like to see a scale? Oh no, don't ask that. That's a dodgy question. I won't ask that one. What old kit is one of your favourite kits? Do you have an old kit that maybe most people would be like, oh no, I'm not building that, it's terrible? What old kit have you enjoyed building the most? I think for me, it's got to be that AMT Super B. I love that car. I love the look of it. The kit was pretty crap. It was all twisted and bent. But it turned out alright in that beautiful, crazy plum colour. And that's mine, probably. So what is your old kit? There's not a very good kit that you could quite happily build over and over again. I went and bought another AMT Super B, but the Pro Street one. So you'll see another one of those off me in the future. So let me know down below, what is your favourite old school kit that isn't very nice to build? There we go. Thanks for watching today, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.